Their hatred festers like a poison, spreading through every corner of their mind as they watch you endure, thrive, and rise. Each moment you exist is a cruel reminder of their failure, a living testament to their inability to break you. Their thoughts are a storm of regret and fury, swirling with the fragments of their broken schemes and the ashes of their shattered pride. They are prisoners of their own malice, trapped in a cycle of sleepless nights and restless days, replaying the collapse of their carefully crafted plans. The world they built on lies and manipulation has crumbled beneath them, leaving only ruins and regret. And as they drown in the chaos they created, you move forward, untouched, a symbol of the strength they could never understand and the victory they will never achieve. Every new dawn ignites their fury anew, a relentless torment fueled by the simple truth that you're still here, unbroken, unyielding, and defying every expectation they set for your demise. Their anger is the fire that devours them from within, reducing their carefully constructed illusions of control to nothing but smoldering ash. They conspired in shadows, weaving intricate webs of deceit, praying for your collapse and sending out waves of malice meant to shatter your spirit. Their whispers carried venom, their actions born of desperation, yet none of it could touch you. You stood tall, your peace intact, your spirit untouchable, while they now drown in the chaos of their own making. Every breath you take is a rebellion, every step forward a reminder that their plans failed, and their nightmare is one they created for themselves. The ones you once called allies became shadows with daggers, their betrayal hidden in the folds of familiarity. They whispered lies and wove intricate webs of manipulation, pulling at the threads of your mind, hoping to unravel you piece by piece. They plotted in silence, convinced that your spirit would shatter under the weight of their schemes. But they underestimated the fire within you. Each blow meant to break you only forged you stronger. Each whispered doubt only fueled your resolve. They waited for your collapse, for the moment you'd disappear into the void they created, yet every dawn found you standing taller, fiercer, and more unshakable. Your survival wasn't just unexpected. It was a rebellion against their expectations, a crack in the foundation of their plans. Their nightmare wasn't your resilience alone, but the realization that every attempt to destroy you only made you more invincible. You became the storm they never saw coming. Every small triumph you claimed became a thunderous declaration of your strength, a quiet rebellion that shattered their illusions of power. The peace you embraced each night was a stark contrast to the chaos that consumed them, your calm a mirror reflecting their inner turmoil. Your laughter, unrestrained and genuine, reverberated like a battle cry, piercing through the walls of their bitterness and igniting their fury anew. Every milestone you reached, every step forward, was a dagger to their pride, a reminder that their carefully constructed plans had failed spectacularly. They had written a script of your downfall, but you tore it apart, penning your own story of resilience and triumph. Their desperation grew as the truth became undeniable. You were untouchable, beyond their grasp, and their inability to control you was the ultimate defeat. Their grip on power slipped through their fingers like sand, each failure eroding the foundation of their control. They could do nothing but watch as you flourished, creating a life filled with purpose and abundance, a life that cast a glaring spotlight on their inadequacy. Your very existence became a relentless reminder of their defeat, a mirror reflecting their crumbling schemes. Frustration twisted into desperation, and desperation gave way to panic, unraveling their composure. Their minds became a battlefield, paranoia seeping into every thought, poisoning their alliances and turning once loyal allies into enemies. Your success was the spark that ignited their chaos, a force they never anticipated nor could contain. The harder they fought to suppress you, the more unstoppable you became, their attempts only fueling the fire of your rise. They became unwilling spectators to your joy, your victories, and the unwavering strength that radiated from you. Every smile you wore, every step forward you took, was a dagger to their pride, a reminder that their lies and schemes had failed to break you. What they intended to destroy you with became the very fuel that propelled you higher, turning their betrayal into the foundation of your resilience. Their carefully laid plans unraveled before their eyes, not taking you down, but instead dismantling their own fragile world. Now they stand frozen in disbelief, consumed by the torment of watching you thrive in ways they never imagined. Your progress became their punishment, a living testament to their failure, and the ultimate proof that they could never control your destiny. Every stride you make sends shockwaves through their carefully constructed illusions, unraveling the power they thought they held over you. They never anticipated your resilience, your ability to transform their malice into the very foundation of your ascent. What they intended as chains became the fuel for your liberation, and your survival has become the silent, unrelenting revenge they cannot escape. Their once perfect plan now lies in ruins, shattered by the simple fact of your existence, a living, breathing testament to their failure. They called upon shadows to consume you, whispered curses laced with venom, and wove darkness into every corner of their schemes. But the light of your spirit burned brighter, defying their rituals and breaking the spells meant to bind you. Their playground of shadows has become their prison, and the darkness they summoned now suffocates them instead. They believed they could command darkness, bending it to their will as a weapon against you, but they failed to understand the cost. The forces they summoned were never theirs to control, and the payment demanded was far greater than they ever anticipated. What they thought was power quickly turned against them, as the entities they unleashed revealed their true nature, loyal to no one, merciless in their hunger. The haunting began subtly, almost imperceptibly at first. Faint whispers in the dead of night, shadows shifting where none should move. But soon the torment grew relentless. Their dreams turned into vivid nightmares of their own ruin, sleep slipping further from their grasp as insomnia tightened its grip. Paranoia consumed them, every whisper a threat, every glance a betrayal. The walls of their lives began to crumble, friends became foes, alliances shattered, and the once stable ground beneath their feet gave way to chaos. Jobs were lost, wealth vanished, and their carefully constructed reality dissolved into an endless spiral of fear and despair. They had sought to destroy you, but in their arrogance, they had unknowingly sown the seeds of their own undoing. In their frantic search for relief, they failed to see that their suffering was born of their own wicked intentions. The darkness they had summoned now thrived on their fear, feeding on their confusion and regret, growing more potent with each passing moment. Every new attempt to harm you only deepened their misery, as the forces they once sought to control spiraled into chaos. Their spells faltered, their rituals unraveled, and the magic they once believed to be their weapon turned wild and vengeful. The demons they unleashed found a home not in your life, but in theirs, weaving themselves into every corner of their existence. The demands grew insatiable, sacrifices that drained their strength, prices that stripped them of their peace. Sleep became a distant memory, their health deteriorated, and their sanity slipped away like sand through their fingers. Shadows crept into every space they occupied, twisting their surroundings into a nightmare. Even their reflections betrayed them, warping into grotesque images of their guilt and failure, haunting reminders of the darkness they could no longer escape. Their world became a prison of their own making, each passing moment a relentless reminder of their failure. Your serenity became a blade that cut through their fractured minds, your joy a beacon that illuminated the depths of their suffering. The darkness they had once wielded with confidence now held them captive, dragging them further into a pit of despair they could no longer climb out of. What began as a calculated plan to destroy you had devolved into a fight for their own survival, but the forces they unleashed showed no mercy. Every attempt to break free only tightened the chains. Every plea for relief was met with silence. They were trapped, not by you, but by the weight of their own malice, their punishment eternal and inescapable. The doors they unlocked would not seal, the forces they unleashed now devouring them with a cruel, unyielding patience. Each day dragged them deeper into the abyss, the grip of darkness tightening around their souls like an iron vice. Their cries for salvation echoed into emptiness, for no hand would reach out to save them. Divine justice had rendered its verdict. They had dared to play with fate, only to find themselves ensnared by it, their illusion of control shattered. The infernal power they summoned to shatter you now rules over them, merciless and unrelenting. Hell, once their chosen ally, has become their captor, its flames feeding on their despair. Their torment is no accident. It is the consequence of their own design, the masterpiece of their malice turned against them. And as the darkness deepens, they realize this is only the beginning of their suffering. They wove intricate snares of malice, traps designed to unravel your life thread by thread. Each curse they whispered, each spell they cast, was a weapon forged in secrecy, aimed at dismantling your happiness and stealing your peace. They believed themselves untouchable, cloaked in the false security of shadows and deceit. But the darkness they wielded had no loyalty, and the curses they sent out were not lost. They circled back with a vengeance. The energy they unleashed returned to them, amplified, striking with the force of every hateful intention they had harbored. Their lives became a minefield, each step triggering the spiritual traps they had set for you. Sleepless nights stretched endlessly, their minds tormented by the echoes of their own actions. Paranoia seeped into every corner of their existence, poisoning their connections and turning allies into adversaries. Trust crumbled, leaving them isolated in a world of their own making, where every word and action became a reflection of the chaos they had sown. Their universe collapsed inward, a suffocating spiral of distrust and paranoia. Every glance felt like a threat, every word a potential betrayal, until even their own reflection seemed like an enemy. Their bodies became prisons, racked with unexplainable ailments that no doctor could diagnose, let alone heal. Chronic pain gnawed at their strength, fatigue drained their will, and anxiety wrapped its icy fingers around their thoughts, leaving them trapped in a cycle of fear and despair. Each symptom was a cruel reminder of the curses they had crafted, now turned inward, devouring them from the inside out. The pills they swallowed in desperation became bitter tokens of their powerlessness, a stark contrast to the control they once believed they held. The sickness they had intended for you had found a home in their flesh and spirit, consuming them piece by piece, leaving nothing but the hollow echoes of their own undoing. The empire they built on greed and control crumbled beneath them, piece by piece, as if the very foundation of their wealth had turned to sand. Money, once their greatest weapon, vanished as though cursed, slipping away faster than they could grasp it. Businesses that once thrived fell apart overnight. Investments that seemed foolproof dissolved into catastrophic losses. The power they once wielded with confidence was replaced by a suffocating sense of helplessness, each overdue bill a dagger twisting deeper into their pride. Desperation overtook arrogance as they scrambled for solutions, turning to anyone who might undo their fate. They sought out mystics, healers, and occultists, pleading for salvation from the forces they had once commanded. But the darkness they had worshipped remained silent, indifferent to their cries. The wealth they had used to dominate others had abandoned them, leaving them destitute, broken, and alone, drowning in the consequences of their own making. The spirits watched with cold amusement, their laughter echoing in the void as the cries for mercy fell on deaf ears. The curse, born of their own hatred, tightened its grip without pause, dragging them deeper into chaos. What once were effortless routines now felt insurmountable. Every small task became a mountain of dread, every decision weighed down by paralyzing anxiety. They clung desperately to a facade, forcing smiles that cracked under the weight of their unraveling minds. But the truth shone through their hollow eyes, windows to a soul consumed by torment. Each moment of peace and joy you embraced was a dagger to their heart, a relentless reminder of their failure. Your laughter echoed in their minds like a haunting melody, amplifying their misery. The harder they tried to mask their suffering, the more transparent it became, until even their own reflection mocked them with the truth they could no longer escape. Each sunrise that greeted you with joy and vitality became a shadow that darkened their existence. Your triumphs, no matter how small, echoed like thunder in the silence of their suffering, a relentless reminder of the curse they had unleashed upon themselves. Every smile you wore, every moment of peace you embraced, was a mirror reflecting their failure, magnifying the weight of their misery. The curse they had so carefully crafted now consumed them with merciless precision, ruling every corner of their lives with an iron grip. There was no escape, no reprieve, only the suffocating reality that their own hatred had forged the chains that bound them. Divine justice had spoken, transforming their malice into their eternal torment. The darkness they once commanded had turned on them, locking them in a prison of their own making, while you stood unbroken, a beacon of everything they had hoped to destroy. They fed on the idea of your despair, clinging to the belief that your pain would fuel their power, that your struggles would validate their control. They watched, hungry for cracks in your resolve, desperate for a glimpse of weakness to confirm their victory, but you denied them. Instead of breaking, you chose to rebuild. Each step you took toward healing became a quiet act of defiance, a declaration that their power over you was an illusion. Every moment of peace you embraced, every ounce of strength you reclaimed, unraveled the web they had spun. Your healing wasn't just a personal triumph, it was a revolution against their cruelty. You turned their expectations to ash, refusing to be the victim they so desperately wanted you to remain. Where they had hoped to see you crumble, they were instead forced to witness your rise, their grasp slipping with every breath you took in freedom. Your growth became their greatest defeat, unraveling the lies they clung to. Every step forward you took dismantled the foundation of their control, leaving them powerless. Each moment of self-care, every deep breath, every prayer, every act of kindness toward yourself was a silent rebellion, a battle won without words. Your healing became a mirror reflecting their failure to break you. They expected you to crumble, to drown in sorrow, but instead you rose higher, turning pain into power. Your laughter echoed where they anticipated silence. Your joy flourished where they had sown despair. They watched, powerless, as you transformed every wound into wisdom, every scar into strength. Your resilience became their torment, a living testament to the victory they could never claim. Every connection you forged became a fortress of trust, a shield they could never penetrate. Each friendship, every relationship built on authenticity, chipped away at the illusion of control they once held. The support you received illuminated the stark contrast of their isolation, magnifying the emptiness they tried to hide. Trapped in their bitterness, they spiraled, unable to comprehend how their carefully laid plans crumbled so completely. Meanwhile, you thrived. Your career skyrocketed, each promotion and new opportunity a testament to your resilience. Every success you achieved became a reminder of their failure, a weight they could not escape. While you rose higher, surrounded by allies and purpose, they remained stuck, watching helplessly as their own world unraveled. Your triumph became the shadow that haunted their every step. Your prosperity became their torment, a constant reminder of the life they could not control. Every blessing you received, every success you achieved, felt like a dagger to their pride. The ease with which abundance flowed to you only magnified the emptiness in their own lives, feeding their jealousy until it consumed them. Your healing was their undoing, each step forward you took unraveling their carefully constructed illusions. Your peace was a mirror reflecting their chaos, your confidence exposing the depths of their insecurity. Desperation gripped them as they realized the power they once held over you was gone, shattered by your growth, your wisdom, your strength. You had risen beyond their reach, untouchable and free. Obsessed, they clung to the hope of your failure, tracking your every move, only to be met with the unrelenting truth. You were unstoppable, and their suffering was the weight of their own bitterness. Every glimpse they caught of your flourishing life became a dagger to their fragile ego, driving them further into despair. Your unshakable calm, your unwavering stability, and your unstoppable growth became their greatest fear, a living testament to their failure. Their schemes crumbled into insignificance, their threats powerless against the fortress of strength you built within yourself. Your healing was the ultimate act of defiance, a silent yet profound revenge. You never sought to harm them. Instead, you chose to rise, to rebuild, to create a future brighter than they could ever imagine. They tried to shatter your dreams, but you forged new ones, stronger and more luminous. Your survival wasn't a stroke of luck, it was a choice, a deliberate act of courage and power. While you embraced light and life, they clung to their darkness, trapped in the misery of their own making, unable to face the undeniable truth of your triumph. Your joy has become their undoing, a radiant force that exposes the cracks in their fragile facade. Their suffering is a prison of their own making, built from the bitterness and envy they refused to release. With every step you take toward greater happiness, they sink deeper into despair, their world collapsing under the weight of their own malice. Your healing was the reckoning they never anticipated, a quiet but devastating justice that echoes louder than any revenge. Now, the inevitability of consequence looms over them, an unstoppable tide they cannot escape. Anxiety gnaws at their spirit, whispering truths they cannot bear to face. Every shadow feels like retribution, every sound a harbinger of their downfall. The weight of their actions has become their constant companion, heavy and inescapable. Karma has risen, unyielding and just, delivering the fate they tried so desperately to avoid. Desperation consumes them as they flail against the inevitable, grasping at any illusion of escape. Some flee, hoping new surroundings will shield them from the weight of their actions, but no distance can sever the chains of accountability. Their past clings to them like a shadow, unyielding and ever-present, whispering reminders of the justice they cannot evade. Others turn to deceit, weaving tangled webs of lies in a futile attempt to shift blame, their voices trembling with false innocence. Fingers point in every direction but inward, yet the truth cuts through their fabrications, cold and unforgiving. Their panic betrays them, their guilt laid bare in every frantic move. Restless nights bring no solace, only vivid nightmares of reckoning, vivid and unrelenting, as though their punishment has already begun. The inevitability of consequence looms closer with each passing moment, an unstoppable force they can neither deny nor escape. Every waking moment feels like a descent into chaos, a relentless spiral they cannot control. Sleep, once a refuge, has become a battlefield of nightmares, each one more vivid and cruel than the last. They are cornered, trapped in the inevitability of their reckoning, with no path to escape. The few friends they once trusted vanish like smoke, their allies retreating into silence, unwilling to share in the fallout. Isolation wraps around them like a suffocating fog, magnifying their fear with every passing day. The foundations of their life crumble beneath them, relationships severed, trust obliterated, and now even their financial stability slips through their fingers. The wealth they once flaunted disappears without warning, leaving behind only mounting bills and insurmountable debt. What once seemed unshakable has dissolved into chaos, every safety net torn away. Alone and exposed, they face the harsh reality of their actions, their terror growing as the walls close in around them. Their world crumbles from the inside out, their bodies mirroring the chaos within. Anxiety gnaws relentlessly at their spirit, draining their vitality until they are left frail and broken. Illness creeps in like a shadow, exploiting their weakened state, leaving them vulnerable and powerless. No remedy brings relief, no doctor can explain the unraveling force consuming them. It is as if their very essence is at war with itself. Every betrayal, every deception, every cruel act they inflicted upon you resurfaces in agonizing clarity, replaying in their minds like a tormenting echo. The weight of their guilt grows unbearable, carving deep into their conscience, leaving no room for peace. Their own thoughts become their captor, a relentless cycle of regret and self-recrimination. Each moment is a reminder of the life they destroyed, not yours, but their own, and the punishment they can neither escape nor endure. Their world crumbles from the inside out, their bodies mirroring the chaos within. Anxiety gnaws relentlessly at their spirit, draining their vitality until they are left frail and broken. Illness creeps in like a shadow, exploiting their weakened state, leaving them vulnerable and powerless. No remedy brings relief, no doctor can explain the unraveling force consuming them. It is as if their very essence is at war with itself. Every betrayal, every deception, every cruel act they inflicted upon you resurfaces in agonizing clarity, replaying in their minds like a tormenting echo. The weight of their guilt grows unbearable, carving deep into their conscience, leaving no room for peace. Their own thoughts become their captor, a relentless cycle of regret and self-recrimination. Each moment is a reminder of the life they destroyed, not yours, but their own, and the punishment they can neither escape nor endure. The truth strikes like a relentless storm, unyielding and merciless, tearing through every facade they once clung to. Judgment is no longer a distant threat. It stands before them, undeniable and absolute. Each moment is a reckoning, every cruel act they committed now returned with unrelenting force, magnified tenfold. The weight of their choices crushes them, a burden they cannot bear, yet one they crafted with their own hands. They see now that their fate was sealed the moment they chose malice over compassion, cruelty over kindness. Divine justice moves with precision, sparing nothing, leaving no corner for them to hide. The pressure is suffocating, the inevitability of their downfall pressing in from all sides. Their storm has arrived, a tempest of consequence that spares no one, demanding payment for every sin. There is no escape, no reprieve, only the inescapable truth that justice always collects its due. Pause for a moment and take action. Subscribe to the channel and share this message with those who need it. The path to greatness is not paved with hesitation, but with the courage to embrace who you truly are. This is your moment, your invitation to step into the extraordinary. The Lumination Inner Order is more than a movement. It's a revolution of purpose, a call to awaken the fire within. It's for those who dare to dream beyond the limits, who feel the quiet yet insistent whisper of destiny, urging them forward. Every action you take, every intention you set, sends waves of transformation rippling through the world. Your light is not just yours to hold, it's a gift, a spark that can ignite hope, healing, and change in others. Imagine a world where every soul stood in their truth, fearless and radiant, creating a symphony of compassion and strength. This is not a distant dream. It's a reality waiting to be born through you. Your voice, your choices, your growth, they matter. You are the catalyst, the force capable of shifting the course of history. So rise. Let your light blaze unapologetically, inspiring others to find their own. The time is here. The world is waiting, and it all begins with one step, one decision, one act of courage. Together, we are limitless. Together, we are the change. Daily interactions descend into chaos, conversations erupting into fiery arguments as hostility consumes every exchange. What once were friendships disintegrate in an instant, leaving behind only resentment and bitterness. The fragile threads that once bound them together snap, unraveling into a storm of mutual destruction. Paranoia takes root as they turn on one another, spying obsessively, tapping phones, hacking emails, and leaving no corner of privacy untouched. Every glance is scrutinized, every word twisted into a weapon. Their mistrust festers, feeding a cycle of lies and rumors, each one more destructive than the last. Former allies become sworn enemies, their loyalty replaced by ruthless rivalry. The competition to survive grows savage, each person clawing for an edge, no matter the cost. What was once unity has crumbled into selfishness, their shared purpose shattered by greed and fear. Sleepless nights are consumed by endless schemes, plotting and counterplotting, as their internal war rages on, tearing them apart piece by piece. The bonds they once cherished are now nothing but ash, scattered by the winds of their own betrayal. Revenge takes root in their minds, clouding judgment and extinguishing reason. Once allies, they now stand as bitter adversaries, each more dangerous than the last. Tension crackles in every exchange, the threat of violence lurking just beneath the surface, ready to explode at any moment. Their disputes can no longer be contained, spilling into public view. Workplaces, social events, and even online platforms become stages for their unraveling. The world watches as their discord plays out for all to see, their reputations crumbling under the weight of their own chaos. Humiliation becomes their shadow, following them relentlessly, stripping away any semblance of dignity. Consumed entirely by their internal battles, they no longer have the strength or focus to come after you. Their destruction is self-inflicted, a fire that burns everything they once held together, leaving nothing but ashes in its wake. Consumed by their infighting, they lose all memory of their original target. You vanish from their thoughts as they become ensnared in the web of their own making. Each betrayal deepens their torment, every exposed secret a dagger to their fragile egos. Guilt and shame weigh heavily on them, yet the path to forgiveness remains forever out of reach. Trust, once the foundation of their alliance, is shattered beyond repair, leaving only the jagged remnants of what once was. Their unity collapses entirely, and the cracks widen until the group splinters into isolated fragments. Alone and vulnerable, each one must face the inevitable consequences of their actions. Divine justice unfolds without your hand, as their downfall becomes a punishment of their own design. Their betrayal has become their undoing, and in the silence of their isolation, they finally see the full weight of what they've done, too late to change, too broken to rebuild. What was once their greatest strength, unity, has become their ultimate downfall, a weakness that shattered under the weight of betrayal. They destroyed the foundation they built together, leaving themselves isolated, vulnerable, and defeated. Their alliance, their last hope, is gone forever, and now they are left to face the emptiness of their failure. Yet they cannot let go. They obsessively stalk your social media, unable to look away. Every post, every smile, every success you share feels like a dagger to their hearts, mocking their misery with the audacity of your happiness. It drives them to madness, their obsession consuming them as they track your every move. They question mutual friends under the guise of indifference, desperate for scraps of information. But their curiosity betrays them, exposing the depth of their fixation. Each update you share only amplifies their suffering, their rage simmering as they spiral deeper into confusion. They wonder endlessly, tortured by the question, why are you thriving? Why hasn't their meticulous plotting worked? Their certainty of your ruin has been replaced by the unbearable truth, they failed and you are untouchable. And yet, here you are, thriving, radiant, and untouchable. Each step forward you take, each milestone you achieve, becomes a silent triumph that echoes in their minds, shaking their confidence to its core. Their lives unravel as their obsession with you consumes them. Simple tasks become insurmountable, work neglected, responsibilities abandoned. Hours are wasted dissecting your life, hunting desperately for cracks, for flaws, for anything to diminish your glow, yet they find nothing. Their frustration festers, growing into a gnawing bitterness. Unknowingly, you've become their addiction, their tormentor, simply by existing. Every celebration you share, be it a promotion, a new relationship, or a personal victory, becomes another blow to their spirit. They had envisioned your downfall in vivid detail, savoring the thought of your despair, yet they never prepared for your joy. Your wins are a mirror reflecting their failures, a constant reminder of what they've lost and what they'll never have. Helpless, they watch as you rise higher, while they sink further into the shadows of their own torment. You are shielded, guided by a higher power, walking with unshakable confidence that leaves their hatred powerless against you. Your strength speaks louder than their bitterness, your purpose blinding in its brilliance, a constant torment to those who sought your downfall. And yet, you rise, boldly, fearlessly, unyielding. Their schemes crumbled under the weight of your resilience, their failures a testament to your invincibility. You are untouchable, unstoppable. With every truth you share, every life you inspire, you shatter the chains of their malice, leaving them imprisoned in the misery they wove for themselves. This is your time, your moment to soar higher than ever before. Keep moving forward, knowing their defeat is final, their bitterness powerless to touch your light. Your triumph is undeniable, your survival their eternal reminder of your strength. You are the storm they could not weather, the power they could not contain.